All right, so today we're going to be talking about the mole, which is a super exciting topic in chemistry. So we're going to use it in order to be able to talk about different substances. And when we start going into chemical reactions, we need to know about the mole. Okay, before we go into the mole, though, we need to remember a little bit of our scientific notation. Okay, so just do a quick review with me. Scientific notation, it's an easy way to remember really large and really small numbers. So you want to write really, really, really big numbers, like the speed of light using scientific notation, and you want to use really, really small numbers like the size of an atom. Okay, so we talk about scientific notation using big and small numbers. For scientific notation, you're going to have to know the basic parts so that we're all talking the same language. Okay, you need to know what the coefficient, the base, and the exponent are. All right, so right here, this 6.022, that's going to be your coefficient. We're going to have a base of 10. Sometimes in math class we talk about the natural log. All right, we're going to use the base 10. All right, and then our exponent, which is right here. Okay, so those things are all really important. You do need to know how to identify them, and so we're all talking the same language. All right. All right, it's also important that we know how to use our calculator. If we don't know how to use our calculator, this is going to be really challenging for us. Okay, but if we do know how to use our calculator, it's going to be a piece of cake. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do, if I want to type in that example, okay, I'm going to write it up here, 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd. And then we're going to walk through how to do that. So just type in 6.022 on your regular keys like you normally would. So that would be 6.022, that's the first step. Easy. Okay? Then what you're going to do you see this little EE button? That means times 10 to the. Okay? So we're going to put in that EE button. The way we access that, we're going to hit second, and then we're going to hit this button right here. So I'm going to hit the second button, and then I'm going to hit the inverted X button, and that's going to give us an EE. All right? So a little EE will appear on our screen, and then we're just going to hit 23, just like regular, and then we're going to hit our equal sign. And if you do that correctly, on your screen up at the top here, it should say 6.022 E23. So it might look like this, 6.022 E23. All right? All right, so I want you to try this out in this example. We've got 3.0 times 10 to the 8th meters per second times 60 seconds. Okay, so this is going to give us the distance of light is what this is. This is the speed of light. Okay, and this is 60 seconds. So in 1 minute, how far does light go? Okay, so I want you to try this in your calculator. So put 3.0, type in that E, get the 8, hit enter, and then multiply by 60. All right, and try it out and just put me on pause. All right, let's see if you got the same thing. It should be 1.8 times 10 to the 10 meters. And in your calculator, it might look differently. It might look like this. It might look like 1.8 E 10. That's fine. It means the same thing. That E means times 10 to the. All right? Good. Let's try a couple more out. Okay. Talking about the mole, okay? The mole is a unit, okay? And we're going to talk about what it means in just a minute. So just like the pair, a pair of something, a pair of shoes means 2 shoes. A dozen eggs means 12 eggs, okay? The mole means a number, okay? A ream, I don't know if you guys know this one, is actually 500. So a ream of paper is 500 pieces of paper. And a googol is 1 times 10 to the 100, I believe, all right? And that's a googol, not like the search engine, okay? But the search engine is actually named after this number, all right? So it's 2, 12, 500, 1 times 10 to the 100. So I was correct, all right? So let's check out what a mole is. Okay, a mole, it's a counting unit, just like we talked about, and it actually stands for that number we used earlier, 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd. You must memorize it. You must memorize it. You must memorize it. You have to know it cold, okay? I'm going to quiz you when you come into class tomorrow. I'm going to ask you what it is, okay? 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd particles. And when we're talking about particles, we're talking about two different things. Well, they're the same thing, but it's just a language thing. We're talking about either atoms, and that would be anything that would be a singular element, or we're talking about molecules. So that'd be something like water. So hydrogen would have atoms, water would be molecules, okay? It's also referred to as Avogadro's number. So this guy, Amadeus Avogadro, helped determine what this number is. So we call it Avogadro's number. So it's three things. A mole is a counting unit. It's 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd, and it is Avogadro's number. So make sure you know all three of those things. You have 3 bullet points for what is a mole. How do I do problems with a mole? Okay, we're going to use this as a unit conversion. We're going to say 1 mole is 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd particles. Okay, so let's try this one out. If I have 0.5 moles of table salt, NaCl, how many molecules do I have? So the first thing that I want to do is start with my given over 1. Every single time, take your given, put it over 1. In this case, my given, which I can circle right in the problem, is 0.5 moles of table salt. So I'm going to put that over 1. Okay? Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my unit conversion, which is now in red. I'm going to put that in my second set of parentheses. So remember, one number has to be in the top, and one number needs to be in the bottom. So if I look here, I'm noticing that my moles is in the top here. So I'm going to guess my moles is going to have to be in the bottom here. All right, so that those units will cancel out. All right, so I'll put moles in the bottom, and I'm going to put molecules in the top. Okay, so 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd molecules. Remember, molecules, particles, atoms, all means the same thing. Moles and molecules are not the same thing. A mole is a unit, MOL. Okay, so we're going to put that in our calculator. All right, 0.5 times 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd. All right, and what do I get? I get 3.011 times 10 to the 23rd molecules. Okay, some people find it easy to put the mole in, the 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd molecules, and then hit enter, and then multiply by 0.5. It doesn't matter. You just want to make sure you get good at it using your calculator. Okay, so for the next two questions, I'm going to set it up, help you set it up, and I want you to make sure you can get it in your calculator. All right, example 1, we've got how many molecules are in 0.33 moles of NaCl? Again, I start with my given over 1. This is going to be my given. Okay, and then I'm going to go moles to molecules. Okay, so I just need my unit conversion. 1 mole is 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd molecules. Okay, that comes from your brain. You just got to know it, got to remember it. Okay, so I'm going to start with my given over 1, 0.33 moles of NaCl. All right, and then I'm going to go to molecules. All right, look and see how my units have canceled out. Moles cancels out with moles, and I'm left over with molecules. Okay, so what does that equal? I want you to do it in your calculator, and I want you to try it out. You have to have a number. All right. Have to have something for tomorrow. All right, let's try our second example. How many moles of S are in 3.8 times 10 to the 22 atoms? So in this case, I gave you atoms and you're looking for moles. So it's this same unit conversion, just done a slightly different way. So we're starting with this many atoms. That's my given. Okay, and I'm looking for moles. That's my goal. All right, so same thing. You need to know that 1 mole is 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd atoms. All right, so I start with my given over 1, which is going to be 3.8 times 10 to the 22nd atoms of sulfur. Put that over 1. And then atoms is on top, so I've got to have my atoms on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to put 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd atoms on the bottom, moles on top, and you'll notice my atoms are going to cancel out. I'm going to be left over with moles. Okay, something that's really important for you to do, when you put this into your calculator, I want you to do 3.8 E, which means times 10 to the 22. And then I want you to hit enter. Okay, and then I want you to hit divided by, and then start parentheses and do 6.022 times, E times 10 to the 23rd. And then close your parentheses and hit equals. Okay? If you don't put parentheses around this right here, remember PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, you're not going to make this E apply for all of the right stuff. Okay? So you have to put these parentheses in there to isolate that second part. Okay? So try that out in your calculator. We'll go over it in class together. All right? Sounds good.